Okay, so this is again the objectives for this week. We're just learning a little bit more about the workspace, animating, importing assets, and exporting. Now, I've pretty much liked if you can just submit with an SWF file. That works fine. The MOV file is actually a video and it's quite large. The SWF file is smaller. Have you ever thought about that? Why the SWF file is very small relative to a video? What are your thoughts on that? Why is there such a difference between the size of the output file, the MOV video file, versus the SWF file that's output? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Yeah, the SWF is not editable. The FLA file is the project file, the raw file, but the SWF is an output file. So what are your thoughts? Any ideas why it's so small? If you look at that, the output file is just relatively, when compared to the file, MOV file, for example, here we've got an MOV. I'm trying to, here we go, right here. Look at that. 37.9 megabytes is the MOV. And look at the corresponding SWF that was output, 24 KB. Isn't that amazing, the difference? And what's ironic is when I play the MOV, it will look identical to when I play this SWF. It is the exact same appearance. See, there's the SWF file. SWF stands for shockwave format, shockwave file, actually. And here's the MOV. Same thing. But look at the difference. 37.9 megabytes, 24 KB. The ratio there is incredible. If you were to calculate 37, let's just really quickly see what that calculates to. 37.9 megabytes. So that would be 37,900,000. 37,900,000 to 3. That's how many bytes the video is. And see, that's the video. And then the SWF file divided by 24,000 roughly equals, look at the ratio. The video is 1,579 times as large as the SWF file. And you saw them, both of them rendered and viewed the same thing. They literally appeared differently. The same. Very good, Eric. Eric says the SWF is vector and the MOV isn't. Very, very good, Eric. Yes, Anne-Marie, KB is, no, other way around. KB is kilobyte or kilo or 1,000, like a kilometer, kilobyte, 1,000 bytes. And MB is megabytes, so it's million bytes. So there is 1,000 KBs in every one MB. But the difference there, 1 to 1, this file here, the file is 1,579 times larger than this one. Okay, let's talk about this. Gigabyte is like 1,000 megabytes. So 1,000, what's that, 1 trillion? Yeah, 1 trillion bytes. Hi, Lydell, welcome. Okay, so let's go back to, just to catch you up, Lydell, what we're doing right now is, you bet, Lydell. Okay, so just to get you a little caught up here, Lydell, we're noticing the relative comparison between the MOV file and this SWF file. And we found that they render and they look identical, and they not only look identical, but they appear identically. And yet there's this one's 1,579 times larger than this one. So we asked the question, why? And Eric came up with the answer. The SWF is vector and the MOV isn't. Okay, so let's talk about that just for a second. What is an MOV file, essentially? An MOV it's a video. Now, the difference between the information that's being captured when you render the video in this format, it's rendering every frame per second. It literally is putting into the video file in the same way in our Adobe Flash, how we distinguish between a tween and a frame by frame. So imagine, let's say we had an animation that was 50 frames large. And so, and so we just did I meant to do that. I'm doing this without my mouse, and so I'm having a little bit of a I'm using the two finger addition there, and so it's just not. So this here, if we did a tween, and then we converted this into a symbol, and then we converted this into a motion tween. So as you know, the Flash knows about the size of this and knows where it's supposed to go. Flash keeps track of, I don't know how to get rid of my calendar. I think that's my calendar. I thought I turned it all off before the class. Flash knows where you start, it knows where you end, and it knows where you are with each frame here. It keeps track of that information. It keeps track of the dimensions of this symbol, and that's all it needs to save. It's like vector information. But if you were to create and render a movie from this, a movie will render each frame. Take a picture of there, put that in the MOV file. Take a picture of that. The entire stage, every single pixel, every pixel is defined. It's raster, the raster image here. So it would define every single pixel here, depending on the size of our stage, and that would render and it would save it in the MOV file. And we'd move again. And once again, snapshot of all the pixels and all the pixels. So technically the MOV file is like a frame-by-frame animation in the sense of it's taking a picture of every single frame. And it's putting that every single pixel information into the MOV file. But when you render an SWF, it does not do that at all. It has vector information about location, dimensions, and so on, and it's very small, as you can see. So that's why we have the difference in size. This one is a rendered video. Every single frame and every single pixel of every single frame snapshotted becomes the video file. Whereas here, we just retain vector information. And there's one other component that's necessary for this to work. Just the SWF file alone is not enough. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? What is the other thing in the puzzle that's necessary for this the SWF file to work? Anyone have any ideas? Yeah. What specifically about Flash? Lydell. It's all right, Lydell. What is it? Brandon said Flash is the necessary component, but do you know specifically? There you go, Brandon. Nice, nice, nice. Brandon, you're doing great. So far, you're doing awesome with the answers. It's the Flash player. So the Flash player needs to be where? Now, I'd like everybody to answer this question. And if you don't know the answer, just put a question mark and be humble. Don't worry about putting a question mark. It's all good. It's necessary for me to know where you're at. Where is the Flash player located, generally speaking? Everybody answer. If you don't know, put a question mark. If you're guessing, put your guess followed by a question mark. Okay, good, good, good. All right. Yes, the Flash player, welcome Liz, the Flash player needs to be installed on your laptop. Okay, very good. It has to be installed on your laptop. And you can find Flash, there, let's see, there it is right there. Now there's a difference between the Flash player and Adobe Flash. What's the difference between this program here and this program here? Hey guys, if you don't talk about the class, it's really good for you to do private messaging. If you're, I'm not trying to be too judgmental here, but if your discussion is outside the topic of what we're talking about, try to do private messaging if you can. Just keep it. Let's try to keep the chat focused on the topics of, rather than having a lot of conversations going on. Very good, Eric. Flash player plays it. Adobe Flash makes it. That's really interesting. Now, the Flash player works with which file format? SWF. Very good. Now, the Flash program that's currently selected there, that works with which file format? If you're going to make it, it creates what file? Native, and what's the file extension on the native files? Very good, FLA. Okay, so this program creates FLA. This one creates outputs either MOV or SWF. Okay, next question. When I output, I have another output. See that export image? You can even just take a picture of where we're at. Export movie. So when I publish, let me see if I can get this to publish. Okay. I'm going to JavaScript. I'm just looking for the exact part of this that I want to show you. Export, I'm going to, I don't think it's the save as that I want to show you. It's not this screen. It is, I'm looking for a particular screen that has the different settings on it. Well, what I need to do is create one that's based upon ActionScript. Because this one has the SWF. So you have to start from scratch with the ones based, the files that you use to create. You have to start with here. We have to specify right here, make a decision whether or not we're going to create SWF output. And that's why we choose ActionScript 3.0. I can explain to you that. And that, by doing that, it allows us to publish in these file formats. We can create the SWF and SWC even, and then all these just images, just a snapshot of the image. If we do one in the canvas, HTML5 canvas, then we can do publish settings here. We can create JavaScript HTML. So the SWF format requires the Flash player, but this format does not require the Flash player, or maybe it does. Does this format require the Flash player to play? If we exported this, it would create a format that's in HTML and includes JavaScript. And it would not have any SWF. It would be strictly HTML, JavaScript, and also CSS. So if you've had the web classes already, what you're seeing here is that you can use the, you can actually generate animations that go into the HTML, JavaScript, CSS format. Now, what type of program can open an HTML file? Yep, James said any browser, that's right. So actually you need a browser that has the ability to process HTML5 coding, because since, I'll show you really quickly, since things have kind of changed over the years, I'll show you the trends, because you look at the trends now. Adobe Flash was very popular at the peak right in here, and now it's tapering off. So HTML5 output, which doesn't require a Flash player, is still very popular. It was tapering off there. I actually was really concerned about this. I had no idea why this was happening, and then all of a sudden it shot back up. So the demand for HTML5 knowledge is going back up. The good news is, in this class, this program will render all the HTML5 for you, and you don't need to get into the code. There's no such thing as a code view if you're looking at HTML5 that gets rendered. So it does render JavaScript, and in future classes you'll be able to learn ActionScript. Okay, All right, well, I think we're good on the background here. And so let's move on. All right, so tonight, what I'd like to do is spend some time going over pages 26 through 50 in our textbook. Let's see, I want to go back. I just went past it. That the discussion is so long that I don't want to go back over it. So now you understand why the MOV file, so why isn't everybody kind of, now you understand why the MOV file is so huge. It's taking a picture and it's capturing all the pixels on your entire stage, every single pixel, and it's got to record that, the color of every single pixel. And so if you have like 640 by 480, that's 640 times 480 pixels that it's capturing. And that would be every single frame. Okay. All right, so let's review the pages that we'll be going over for this week. Basically, pick up right in here. So here you're showing that you this is important, the fact that you can add additional tweens. Normally, I like to separate them out. But what that means is that different times in the timeline, you can have the different tweens. So if it's happening on the same frame, then you need a different layer. But if it's the same layer but different times in the timeline, then you can have additional animations. So horizontally, you can have multiple animations. Horizontally meaning sequentially in order. Okay. These are different things that you can do in editing the motion path of a tween animation. And we did that in the assignment last week. And we did use the selection and subselection tools to reshape the motion path. Do you remember the subselection tool last week? How we took and clicked on the end and created that vector, and you just bent the vector in order to change the initial angle of the endpoints, if you recall. Did that with the subselection tool. You know that you can grab the entire tween and move it. And you can change the position of the object. Actually, you're moving the object. We've done that, and then you can actually move the motion path itself, and it's selectable, and you can move that. We did this editing with the free transform tool. By the way, I don't know if you saw that in one of the discussion posts. I replied that Adobe Flash has phased out the bone tool with this version of. That was news to me, that the new Adobe Flash Creative Cloud Adobe Flash no longer includes bone tool. The bone tool is a way for you to connect different symbols in an additive way. The motion can be additive, meaning if I have a symbol for the hand and arm, one for the arm and one for the upper arm, and I connect them with a bone tool, when I move the arm, that motion is replicated into the arm and then the other arm. So, but it's no longer used. So it kind of creates a little bit of a problem with people who use the bone tool in previous versions, then import that into this. It ends up turning into, I was studying this, it turns into a frame-by-frame animation if you did use bone tool. If the file that you created in a previous version, CS6 for example, you can use the bone tool. And then when you bring that into the CS6 FLA file into the CC file, it creates a frame-by-frame animation for that particular bone tool animation. Delete and copy. One of the videos has a custom stroke. Remember the width, how we change the width of the motion path and how you can do that. We haven't gone into tween spans yet. None of the tutorials have gone into that. Okay, here you can remove the target instance of a tween, view and edit property keyframes of a tween span. We won't be getting into 3D property keyframes. It's not true 3D. It's kind of a simulated 3D. But that would be an interesting tangent to go on if you, for your final project. We won't be doing a lot of talk of the 3D just because it's outside the scope of our curriculum objectives. But if just know that there is it's kind of like a simulated 3D. It's not true 3D capability of Adobe Flash. In tween, copy and paste motion tween properties. Conversion of a tween span to this frame-by-frame animation. That's where it would literally have a keyframe for every, instead of having a tween here, instead of having the tween here, it would render and with your timeline, it would have an object on each frame. That's what happens when you convert the tween span to the frame-by-frame animation. Now, does everybody know what the word deprecated means? Deprecated? It means, deprecated means we're not so interested in this feature anymore that we're not going to make it better. Deprecated means, as far as our designing the Adobe Flash program goes, if we deprecate something, that means that, for example, the bone tool was not only deprecated, it was removed completely. deprecation is like in that same vein. In fact, if you go to W3 Schools, you'll see another situation where when you look at HTML5, the release of HTML5 is schools. The release of HTML5 is where they deprecated from HTML4 to HTML5. The reason I'm just giving you another context of the usage of the word deprecated, just so you understand. And let's see, HTML5. I think that there is the maybe it's here. See this? It says not supported in HTML5. So this is the full HTML list, but as the HTML language is evolving, when they say not supported in HTML5, that means it's been deprecated. Or this has actually been totally removed. So as this evolves, as the HTML language evolves, they phase out some things. They phase this out completely, frames. That used to be really popular about 10 or 15 years ago, but it's now phased out completely. So as technology develops, the developers of that technology decide to phase it out and phase different parts of it out. That's what the word deprecated, that's what deprecation means. It's when the developers of the technology are saying, we are not going to support this feature. We're not going to improve this feature anymore. Now this will get into Motion Editor. This we actually have a tutorial on this this week. Right here, editing motion tweens using Motion Editor. That's what this is, editing motion tweens using Motion Editor. So this week I'll focus on this in the test. How to open it, concept of property curves, anchor points, control points, property curves, customizes, property curves and properties in the resultant curve that occurs. Then we get into shape tweening, and we've done a little bit of the shape tweening in last week's lecture, where you saw where the sad potato went from being small to being larger as he came into the foreground. And you observed that you can have a shape tween happening at the same time you have a motion tween. The shape tween is happens with the instance of the symbol, and the motion tween is created and it applies to that symbol, but is its own clickable thing that's separate. Shape inset, won't go over that in the video. We did talk about this one last week, if you recall, how we had the variable width profiles. That was one of last week's videos. Selecting frames in the timeline. Labeling frames, we haven't done that yet, but you can literally give names to the frames and address them. And it's helpful because when you create scripting, you can jump right to the label in the timeline. And we know a little bit about frame-by-frame animation. Frame-by-frame animation is necessary when the computer can't generate the tween and movement of that object for one reason or another. Then you resort to frame-by-frame animation. Yeah, Lydell just pasted the definition of deprecate, and number 3 is the one that I'm referring to mark a component of a software standard as obsolete, to warn against its use in the future so that it may be phased out. And James says he's confused about eases. We can go into that later. Let's go back. Let me see if I can get back to it. Hold on. Trying to find it. Oh man, I think I accidentally jumped to the top there. I was going to go back to the eases, and my scrolling just jumped to the top. There we go. It basically, what the ease is just controlling the speed of the tween. And you know, when we did our tweening, we let the computer generate that speed, but easing is kind of like, here's an example. It's kind of like a ball. Easing means when you vary the motion to make it look more realistic. And so that's the tweaking of the tween, to, instead of it moving at the same rate and then right to, it's kind of like a car. If you tween a car and it's going like 30 miles an hour and then it stops, there's no easing into this, no braking to slow down to the stop. It's just like the tween goes, and then all of a sudden, it at the end of that, and you know, it's just, there's just no braking, if you will. So does that help understand what an ease is, James? Yeah, it's just to make it look a little more realistic. Your animation, instead of the car going 30 miles an hour up until all of a sudden it stops, instead the easing allows you to brake. You know, brake the car, slow it down, and it really looks realistic after you apply easing. You know, it changes it from being something that it's just non-believable to something that's very believable. And it also would help, for example, in the acceleration. So it really is handling acceleration and deceleration, if you will. Whereas the typical tween doesn't. It has constant acceleration. You know, you go from 0 to 10 miles an hour back to 0. Whereas easing means you go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, hold it there, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's the value of easing, and it really changes your animation. So you good? Gradual increase of speed or gradual decrease, both. It's just acceleration and deceleration. That's the value of easing. Okay. Trying to get back to where I was. Let's see, label frames, enable span base frame, shift keyframes. Frame sequences, copying and pasting, which you can do. Moving frame sequences also. And oh yeah, here we are, frame by frame animation. This is where we got to. I think have seen onion skinning. It allows you to see several frames before and after, and that lets you get a good view. Rather than, it's kind of like onion skinning. Instead of looking at one location at a time, the onion skinning will and that's right here on the bottom, where it will let you see where it is before and after. So if we had made this it just is a way for you to see multiple frames at one time. And it's good to be able to examine your tween when you're looking at, and if you're doing some precise movement of your object, it's good to turn on onion skinning, because then you can tweak each individual one easily. And that's it. That'll be it for the second exam. Now, remember, the second exam will also include, this will be a midterm, and so it will include the questions from last week. So, so you'll brush up on pages 1 through 25, and then it'll be the same questions from last week. I don't switch it up on you. I know you guys are really busy and the like, so it'll be the same set of questions. That's I typically do that, and then 20 additional questions. So it'll be a total of 40 questions, 2.5 points each. Probably true and false, just like last week, and I'm anticipating that you'll be able to retake it too. Okay. So yeah, a midterm we'll do week 1 and week 2. It's worth 100 points. All right, so now let's switch gears and let's see, assessment. Any questions on the assessment? We're good. Any questions on the assignment anymore? And with the time that we have remaining, what I'd like to do is invite individuals to share their screen and share some of the work that you're working on. First of all, let's start off with anybody who would like to share some of their work so far. And Melissa would like to, okay? Go ahead, share your screen. By the way, I anticipate having the assessment done later on this evening, and I'll do the same thing like I did last week. I'll extend the deadline so that you can have till the end of next week for it without penalty. You can turn on your microphone if you like. That looks great. It's beautiful. Even got some reflection of the sun. I'll turn on your, I'll unmute you. Okay. You're unmuted, so you can talk.
Thank you. I couldn't find it.
It's easy for me to
All right.
do that.
So my audio for the JAWS audio, I want this to start, this part right here to start way over here. How do I get rid of this in the beginning where there's really no sound?
All right.
I have 2 questions on audio. That's the first one.
Okay, so you can insert a keyframe. It looks like you might have a couple of keyframes. Insert a keyframe right where you have where you'd like it to begin. What frame number would you like it to begin on?
I'd like this part right here to be over here in the beginning.
Oh, so you want, well, your audio file might have that delay in it. Can you play just your audio file separately?
How do I do that?
Where is it on your hard drive?
Oh, go to it.
Because that delay might be built into that audio file, and you may have to truncate. So is that the one that's right there?
Well,
Is that the one that's,
how do I turn that thing on?
because that one sounds like it's starting right away.
How do I turn that thing off?
You might, here, toggle to, see, you've got iTunes going down the very bottom. James, you do not need audio.
Well, that didn't shut it off.
You exit out of that, or just pause that. Just quick pause. Pause, left, right there. There you go. If you want, you can turn.
Enough job.
Okay, so let's go back to that for a second. If that's your audio file, we need to go back and study that for a second. So you do not need audio. It doesn't. This assignment does not have to be game driven. It's just really the animation that we're focused on. Okay, James. And Liz, as far as Illustrator or Photoshop, I've actually vacillated on that. There is a video on importing those, and right now I'm currently vacillating to the point of if it helps your animation, go ahead and import Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator files if it's necessary. So I'm kind of making that optional, not a requirement. Does that answer your question, Liz? Okay. Yeah, Lydell, you can go next. Okay, hold on while I catch up on the notes here. Brandon, you can go after that. Let's see. Anne-Marie, did you get your answer also? Okay, good. All right, go ahead. Now, let's go back to your audio file really quickly. And actually, audio and video were supposed to be for next week, but that's okay. Let's go back to your iTunes. Click on iTunes because I need to study this audio file because, okay, if you want, turn it down just a little bit. Or, well, no, there's right there on iTunes. See that right next to right there. Just turn that down a little bit. Okay, now go left, click to the very beginning of the audio file. Right there. Now click play. Let's see if there's a.
See, it looks like it sounds like it starts right at the beginning.
All right.
But then when you load it in here, it doesn't.
Well, oh, really? Turn it up a little bit. I thought that was a delay. I didn't catch it. Okay, go back to the beginning and turn it up just a little bit more. Oh, it does. Now, is that the same audio file that you're using in your
Yes.
exact same one that you dragged in?
Yes.
Okay. Do it one more time. Go to the beginning and correct. I'm going to watch your second counter. Okay, look at that. Okay. Do that one more time, and you tell me at what second the audio begins. Do it again, and you tell me.
It starts on second one.
That's not what I saw, but I want you to do it.
Oops, wrong one. Okay, how do I go back to where I was? There it is. See, it started on second one.
You're right. Yeah, I thought it wasn't hidden. I think it's because the video is not coming across exactly right. So it does start at the very beginning. Let's go back to your, okay. Now, how many frames per second are you doing?
The default, I think, is 24.
All right, can you point to that on your timeline? Where that is?
No.
Okay, very bottom. See the 24.0 FPS?
Oh, yeah, there. Okay.
Okay, 24 frames per second. So tell me this.
Oh.
Point to where on your timeline a full second has gone by. Just point.
Yeah,
There you
right
go.
there.
Right there. Okay, so what do you think is the problem?
So is there any way to make this one thing go faster?
Well, technically what I would do is I would probably, this is just me, I would probably edit the audio file and remove that 1 second. It's just under 1 second of delay, and I would cut it. But again, we're not going to get into audio this week. We're going to get into audio next week. And but that's the problem. Right now, you actually have almost a full second of silence.
Okay.
And it's the fault of your audio file, and the fact that you drag that audio file into your animation, and your animation is going at 24 frames per second. It's just that first second is just it literally is that first, let's say 24ths of a second, 4/5 or so, or something, 5/6 of a second, it is silent, and that's why you're having a problem.
My other question is, this one will not let me fade it in and out. This is not available to me for some reason.
I'm thinking it. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know the answer to that one. My first guess is it might be the file format. What is the file format on the other one? It was an MP3?
No, they're both WAV.
They're both
WAV.
Yeah, okay. Are you on a Windows? No, you're not. Oh, that's interesting.
No, I'm on a Mac.
I wasn't positive whether or not Adobe recognized the WAV format, file format. Okay, just go back to click on the other layer, which has the other animation. Click on that. Yeah. Click on that one. Now, see, that one doesn't allow you. See, that's an MP3.
Oh, that one does. Yeah, but this is the one I want to fade.
Yeah,
That's the way.
Yeah. So again, next week, it'll be okay as is. Frankly, you're ahead of schedule, and your work is going to be great for next week. So it's not all.
Okay.
It's good. That's good news. So don't fret about that. Anyways, let me let somebody else. I think Lydell wanted to go next. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're doing great. In fact, would you mind? Oh, it's too late. I was going to have you just run the animation.
I can do that.
Yeah, just do that, because I think it'd be a treat for all of us to watch your animation.
How do I screen share again?
Go back to the main Zoom screen, and there should be like 3 icons on audio conference, share screen, and invite others. Did you find it?
No.
It's
I
a little
can't
hard
find
to
you.
find sometimes. So anyways, why don't you look for that and we'll come back to you. Lydell, go ahead.
Okay. Can you turn my mic off?
Yep.
Thank you.
bet. Okay, you're muted. Wow. Wow.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay. Now I have to get rid of this. Okay. This is what I have so far.
How about that? There's the bouncing bunny.
I put the bunny back in for you.
Yeah. Wow.
This is that character that I'm collaborating with another artist on. She did all the line work, and I told her that we could work on, that I would do all the shading and everything for her, but I would like to use it for class. She said, "No worries, mate."
How about that?
All right, but this is my. Unfortunately, I had to go past 72.
It's just fine. Don't worry. No one, 72 is the minimum. So
Oh,
no,
that's
no,
the minimum. Okay.
it's the minimum. Yeah.
And what I did was I had to make a bunch of layers. Everything inside is potentially cleanable, and it will be actually animated later on. The legs, they're all in their own separate pieces within, like
Good.
left arm
Good.
here. It's its own.
Yeah. Why don't you like turn off all the other layers and then turn on one layer at a time to show us.
Okay. This is my right arm layer.
Okay.
I had to completely animate this layer so I could put it in its own separate little group. And what I have to do is, with this one, I have to create a graphic symbol for it, chop it, and make it so I can have it straighten and flex. Well, bend and flex. But all that takes is just a little line here and arch on both using the direct selection tool. And so I can basically do this with each part. And then I can make each arm.
Yeah, you can actually play your animation. Let's see which one, but you've got your right arm turned on. If you wanted to turn on some other things.
I think it was the hand that's.
Yeah.
This is behind. This portion is the hand behind the axe when it's tapping. And I have the right hand, which is animated with the axe. These two.
I loved how you layered that.
So everything can be behind, things can be behind other things.
Right. Very well done.
The fog was a difficult piece to do because it was just totally annoying to get it right. So there was a lot of things that I had to do to make sure it got right. So
yeah, I'm looking at your animations. You got a fog animation, a fog back animation too. I'm laughing at your bunny off the stage there. It's cute.
Yeah, the finished product, the bunny's legs are going to be animated, and also the ears. I have a little natural motion to the head to make it look like it's actually hopping.
How about that? That's good.
So that's going to take me a little bit more than the time that I have to work on it. So that's pretty much just all I have right now. And I was trying to work on the eases. They're a little bit more difficult than I thought.
Yeah.
For the bunnies hopping.
Right.
And also the axe, I need to slow it down a little bit as it's reaching its apex.
Right.
So
Yeah. I love how it's just you've got the hand set so that it just lands right in the hand. That's really well done. And it's even behind the blade is behind your arm there.
well, thank you.
Very, very well done.
The torso and all the rim lighting was done with the Wacom tablet that I have
Oh, okay.
because I just can't draw with a mouse. So you think this is good enough for the grade?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Just barely.
just barely. Woohoo!
Just kidding. Okay, good job, Lydell. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Just think,
No worries.
in one week, you've become a skilled animator.
Oh, I've been working on this for months.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the drawing or animation or the drawing itself.
Both. I'm working on a video game.
Oh, okay. No wonder you're so accelerated.
I actually think I'm behind because the video and the audio profile that she had up, I kind of feel a little bit superfluous now. I really liked it.
Okay. All right.
Who's next?
I think Brandon might be next.
All right, I'm going to turn my mic off now.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Liz, you asked a question about selecting object. You can lock the various layers, and then you can lock the layers and unlock the one that you want to, and that should help you select the object. Lock the layers you don't want to select, and keep unlocked the layer which has the object you do want to select. That question was for Liz. I'm scrolling up because I've been studying the screen. Hold on one sec. Okay, 1 second. Okay, everybody pause chatting just for a second, and because I need to scroll up, and every time I scroll up in the chat box, and if somebody types in a chat, it jumps to the bottom. So hold on 1 second while I get caught up. I use Audacity when I edit, but let's see here. Edit audio. I'm going to try using that. Okay, Stephanie asked a question. How do you put a picture in Flash from Photoshop, but not the background that comes with the picture? Stephanie, you need to, in Photoshop, you need to save out a copy of your Photoshop file without the background, and that will be, then import that. Does that answer your question? Okay, don't type anything just yet. It's okay, we can do a quick tutorial on Saturday. Okay.
I'm learning how to edit audio on that one.
Oh. Okay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. You guys can chat again. I'm all caught up. Go ahead. Thank you for. Okay. Awesome. Go for it. Let's see what you.
Well, I like stickman games,
Yeah.
so I figured go something like that. But I do have one problem. I got all that set up. I got this where it only lasts a few seconds, but
What font is that? Oh, look at that. Good job.
this one, the animation I have for player 2 don't work. So I can show it to you, but it won't go there. It won't go to the main scene 1 for some reason. And that one keeps repeating.
All right, let's dissect this and see what's going on. All right. Okay, so the tumbleweed is animated. You have a layer. All right, why don't you use the period, or just scrub it a little bit. You can use a period to go forward. I just kind of want you to go frame by frame. I want to figure out what's going on. Okay, now that's player 1, correct?
That's supposed to be all of them.
Okay. Now let's go into player 1. Go ahead and stop. Go into player 1. Okay, so player 1's animation is how many frames?
4 frames. 5 maybe.
Go ahead and go back to the beginning and do frame by frame. Let's do that again.
And that's all his animations right there, and then it goes to the motion tween.
Okay, so the total animation for this character, the total number of frames is what?
10.
Okay, so let's go back to scene 1. Now, go 1 frame at a time through here. Okay. So what you're doing is you're including a 10 frame animation into a 72 frame animation.
Mm-hmm.
So the 10 frame animation, if it exists in this realm of 72 frames, all it knows to do is the 10 frames. And the second that it's done with the 10 frames, it starts over. So it will do its thing for 72 frames, but it only has a repertoire of a 10 frame motion. So after frame 10, keep going, and you see it starts over because that's what player 1 knows what to do. It has 10 frames of life, and it does its life 7 times because 7 times 10 is 70, and it's going to do its thing 7 times because it lives for 10 seconds, 10 frames, and then it starts over because you've brought it into the world of a 72 frame animation. So if you don't want it to happen in 10 frames, or what, so given that, what do you want to do at this point?
I basically want to stop the repeat.
Okay. So what you could do is go back into your player one animation and extend him out to 72 frames and have him hold that last pose.
Okay.
If you want, you can have him drop his weapon in the last 5 frames or something like that. Or you can just
Holster it.
whatever, yeah, whatever. But that's what you get. What's going on, and you just solved it. So
Mhm.
now let's figure out what's going on with
Player 2.
yeah. Hold on one second. I gotta read the notes or the messages. Hold on one sec.
Mm-hmm.
Eric is trying to figure out what to do for his animation. And Anne Marie too. Hey, Eric and Anne Marie, just be simple. Just do something really simple that you believe you can do. Because I don't want you to get too discouraged. You know, just think of something you know you can do and do that. It'll be fine. And it looks like Stephanie's also wondering. Yeah, see, you can just do 2 bouncing balls, for example. Barbara needs help. Okay. Barbara, do you need help on your, oh, anyways, it's okay. Okay, so let's now figure out what's going on. I love your blood. Where's the bullet, man?
It disappeared. I need to put it in there.
It's probably, okay. All right, so now this guy has a life of about
16 frames.
16 frames. And so because he only lives 16 frames, his life will recycle because you brought him into a world of 72 frames.
Well, the thing is, it's not even doing that. It's not going into the 72 frames.
Yeah. Okay, why isn't this guy? Okay, let's go back to, let's see, wait a minute, let's go back to scene 1 for a second. Can you click on the library upper right? Let's see. Player 1. Can you turn off everything except player 2? Now click on just player 2 there. Sorry, right there. Yeah. Okay, now click on properties. Instance of symbol 3. Okay, turn on all the other layers. And now click on player 1, just like you did. Instance of player 1. Okay, go back and click on the other player. and that says instance of symbol 3. Click cancel for a second. I'm doing a little bit of research here while you do this. Sorry, it's taking me a little bit of time. Movie clip symbol 3. Now go back to player 1 for a second. Click on him. Okay, he's a graphic. Player 1, and then he's a movie clip, and he's an instance of symbol 3. Let's see. So one's a movie clip, one's a graphic. That's not necessarily the problem, though. Me too, James. I love this class. Okay, so what is, see, this is player 2. Okay, double click on this player. And now, let's see here. Do a single click on the player. Okay, what is going on? This is symbol 3. Click on your library. Player 1, symbol 2, symbol 3. So symbol 3 is the thing here that symbol 3 is the thing that's the symbol. Let's go back to scene 1 for a second. Sorry, it's taking me a little bit of time to figure this out.
No, it's fine.
Player 2, you named the layer player 2. Player 1. Can you just turn off player 2 layer just for a second? Okay, so okay, go ahead and turn it back on. Click on properties. Could you click on player 1 again over there? Okay, so that's a graphic instance of player 1. Let's double click on the player 2 again. And go ahead and run this animation. Let's see if this works here. James asks a question, what's the difference between movie clip and graphic? A movie clip symbol has some different properties that a graphic symbol doesn't have. I can go into more detail on that, but it's just the amount of properties, the things you can do with a movie clip. You can like take a movie clip and you can make up your Flash game using multiple movie clips, and they're more modular. You can move them from one game to another. You can modularize your movie clips, but I'm not doing a great justice at explaining that. But graphic symbols don't have the same properties that a movie clip symbol does. Yeah, you bet, Kim. Okay. That was Laura. Okay. What is going on here? Sorry, man. It's just taking me a second to taking me some time here. So 24 frames per second, 0.6 seconds. Go ahead and run it again. 0.6 seconds. Simple 3. Okay, let's go back to scene 1. And just for the heck of it, go to the library and drag Simple 3 onto this stage again. Just drag it and put it someplace else. Drop it. Okay, now run your animation. Okay, undo that, Command Z. And now drag player 1 on, and then do your animation. Okay. Okay, undo that. Okay, click on properties right now. And let's see. It says it's a frame.
Properties of what though?
Well, select that player 2. Okay, why don't you change the drop down up there? Change the movie clip to a graphic. And let's go and try that. Let's go back to scene 1.
It works. Except for the repeat, I can fix.
Go ahead and try that. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just need to get the bleeding guy to fall down. Okay, so are you good? Is that all you need?
I think so.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you.
All right, you bet. Who's next? Oh, by the way, Melissa, were you able to figure out how to share your screen? Melissa? All right. I can't remember who's next. I remember Brandon and Lydell and Melissa, but I don't remember if there was somebody else who wanted to share. Was there anybody else who wanted to share? James, oh yeah, James, you had 3 things you wanted to show. Can you share your screen? Can you unmute yourself? I'll do it for you. Okay, you're unmuted. But I can't hear you. Oh, that's cool looking. Do you have a microphone? You got Windows. That's cool looking. No mic, okay. Oh, I love it. How about that? Did you draw this in Adobe Flash? All these drawings, or did you do an import of something from somewhere? Kind of hard to demonstrate and talk, chat at the same time. If you can bring up your chat, I'd be curious to know. Any of those would be good for submission. Oh, you drew it all. And what tool did you use to draw it in? AI, very good. And you imported them and you converted parts to symbols and you animated symbols. You're doing great. Those are really cool. Very, very interesting. Yeah, we all saw it, each one. Yeah, I do. Thank you, James. Very nice. Very interesting. All right, I'm going to mute you. Now, Melissa, I'll unmute you and you can share your screen. There you go. Yeah, Lydell, that's exactly what I was thinking, Ruby Goldberg machine. I thought of that same thing. That made me think of that too. Okay, James, let's see. We need to have you stop sharing and that'll allow Melissa to share. Very
You
good.
like? My kids think I'm demented.
Oh yeah. Hey, why don't you change your 24 frames per second, just for the heck of it, change it to 12 frames per second. Okay, run it again. The song will be different. It'll be interesting to see what the song does.
Better slow, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, the audio was dragged in when it was 24 frames per second, and so the audio doesn't. Not sure if the audio was able to adjust to the slower thing. Did it sound okay to you? Did the audio adjust, or is the audio affected by the same? I couldn't really tell.
I couldn't really tell a difference.
Okay, can you do it again? Oh, that's great. Yeah, just for the heck of it, I want to see if you could go down to 6 frames per second. And I just want to, I know it's going to be too slow, but I kind of want to see it. It's really not bad. it actually, I thought it would be too slow, but frankly, it's okay as, 6 frames per second. I'll let you play with that. Very, very good. Excellent.
Thank you.
Nice work. Okay. Okay, everybody, it's time. Let's see, 7:40. We actually can call it a night for those of you who need to go. We can formally end this, and if you need to stay, I think Barbara needed to stay. I think Kim needed to stay. Feel free to stay. But if you need to go, feel free to go. And thank you for showing up. So I'll have that assessment posted later tonight. And go ahead, Lydell.
Could we do a little get together, like just the students, this weekend for a quick audio class or update with GarageBand or any other type of DAW?
Let's see. I really kind of
Next week we're doing audio, right?
Yeah, we are, and so I'm trying not to get the cart before the horse.
True.
Okay. But I don't want to stand in the way of people needing this either. So I think I'm going back and forth here. I'm actually leaning in your direction of saying, let's go ahead and have a get together. My daughter is actually running in a triathlon on Saturday. I actually don't know what time she'll be done with the triathlon. I want to support her on that. But I'm thinking later in the afternoon or evening, I might be available. But I think we might even go out in the evening as a family. So I'm trying to figure that out. Let's do this. I'll nail down my schedule for Saturday. You can tell me when you'd be available, and let's see if we can get together for a little powwow on Saturday. Because what I'll do is I'll record it, and then we'll have it available for, already for students to look at next week. So.
Okay. Anytime you're free, I'm free. So.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, James. Appreciate your compliment. Go ahead, Brandon.
It's about my assignment. If you don't mind, I'll share right quick.
Go ahead.
It's the draw. Is there any way I can take all this stuff aside, but not this, and just move it over to where it comes to where this stops? Like, take player 1, player 2, player 3, and leave them static until it gets to this point.
Okay. Right now, player 1 and player 2, their world, their life, that symbol, the animated symbol is it. They in their own world, they're moving. They're by definition, they, when you double click on them, you see what I'm saying? Their life is movement. When you double click on them, they're born to move. They're designed to move. They're tweened to move. And so, what does that mean? You're going to have to. I want you to think about this. Each individual symbol is programmed to be moving. That is their life.
Mm-hmm.
So, question. Are you going to be able to, you want them to stand there for the first 15 frames? Now,
Unless I can just shrink this, I just want to shrink that too. So
all right, but think for a second. You want these guys to stand there for 15 frames and not move, correct?
yeah, I can. You're telling me to add it to the symbol itself?
No, I want you to just think first. Oh, well, that would actually solve it. I mean, yeah, you could add the 15 frames after frame 1. That's definitely one way of doing it. There's actually a couple ways to do that. You can move you've got your frame by frame, your frame 2. If you can move everything to the right 15 frames,
Well, that's what I'm asking. How do I do that?
you kind of, let's see, can you insert 15 frames without, you can cut and move. That's actually in this week's textbook. Moving, see if you can grab that and move it to the right now, to the frame you want it. Is that as far as you wanted it?
I think so.
Okay, now you're going to need to take frame 10 and make a copy of it, and essentially you need to make them in frame 1. They have to show up in frame 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take that and copy them and then insert them there, because he needs to show up there, but he's not supposed to move. So just insert. Yeah, try that. Did it work? Can you slow it down just a little bit? Or else just. Okay, I think it worked.
Yeah, player 1 looks good.
All right, so you good? You get it?
I believe so, yes.
You can do the same thing with player 2, yeah?
Just move these to here.
Yep. And then copy him and let him exist in frame 1. Very good. Excellent. By the way, you can animate your draw, and it can be DRAW, but each thing would be a separate one.
Yeah, they'd be their own symbol, right?
Right.
Now, the only thing left for me to do is to clean it up and put in a background. Unless you like the white. Make it look like paper in the background or something.
Yeah, you know what you could also do is you could actually import a tumbleweed.
Yeah, I was going to do that anyway. Just using that for a placeholder.
Oh, okay. All
But
right.
I was just now thinking about putting an actual sheet of paper in the background with the lines and stuff for the white right here. Make it look like someone drew it out.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. That's cute. I like that. All right, you good?
I believe so. I thank you.
Good. You bet. Okay. James had to leave. Barbara is confused. Wish I had time to read this week's textbook because my character is moving, but her feet aren't. Okay, Kim, do you want to share your screen? Let's see. My character is moving, but her feet aren't.
I'm not sure why it is that the animation isn't working with it, because if I click on it, then it goes to where I created the animation for the feet. I don't know why they're not in the actual thing. I don't know.
Well, it's
What did
interesting.
I do wrong?
Well, it's really interesting because when you double click on that, you're into a symbol, into a symbol, into a symbol, into a symbol. Do that again. Double click on that animation.
All right.
Wow, look at that. See, look up there, and you're in scene 1, but you're in symbol 1
Mhm.
within scene 1, but you're actually in symbol 2 within symbol 1.
Right now I'm
Scene
doing
1.
something with the schoolwork here. Yeah.
And you actually have this Jigglypuff animation, which is within symbol 2, which is within symbol 1, which is in scene 1. So do you see how that upper left there? See how deep you are?
Yeah.
Normally the animation is right, like Jigglypuff would be like on scene 1. So let's go back to scene 1.
How do I correct this?
Just for a second, drag on the far right on your library, Jigglypuff 1.
All right, the far right on my library. Where is it?
Down.
All
There.
right.
Grab that, drag it onto your screen.
Okay.
Just for a second, I want to see what that thing is.
Okay. That was an older version that I had accidentally that I was trying to get rid of because I wanted to make it better after I had made it because it was sort of messy looking. I actually like hid some of the other ones that I made earlier in there because I didn't want to have to start like completely from scratch. I had this file here where I had all the original ones that I did that I didn't want since I remade it better without changing a lot of other things.
Okay.
Is
All right.
there like a way that I can get rid of these here without losing the other stuff?
Well, if you have symbols that are made up of parts of those, then they're dependent upon it. So
Well, I might be able to see if I could or not. Let's see. No, I had some symbols that were made up of parts of those, but I wanted to be able to have this animated on here. Is there anything that I can do to mess with the layers or something to get it so that the parts that I want to play are on the proper layer?
you bet. That's what I'm trying to help you with.
All right.
So let's see. Let's go into the animated thing.
All right. Let me try to get back to that.
Just double click on your Jigglypuff.
All right.
See, that's so interesting. You're so deep. Do it
I
again.
know.
Do it one more time. Okay, there is the animation.
Mhm.
Jigglypuff. So, okay, what's going on? This one's animated. Okay, go ahead and run this animation again.
All right.
Okay, so this guy's animated. Okay, let's go to symbol 2, upper, right, good, right there. And then run that one.
Okay, that one doesn't have the animations. Maybe I animated it on the wrong layer, maybe. I don't know.
Wait a minute, yeah, but it's at least coming through. Let's go up to symbol 1 now.
All right, let's see.
Run that.
That one's not. Is there a way I can like get rid of this one and have the other ones work or something?
Okay, so right at this point, we're losing the animation. Okay, my boss is calling me. I need to pause just for a second, okay?
All right.
Hold on.
Hmm.
Okay, thanks for that. I apologize. We're delivering a project, and I'm going to be translating some French tonight. So, all right. So we're losing the animation, and let's see.
I think the way I ended up having this happen was I created the animation and then I went back to the main timeline to try to set it up to move my character across the screen. But then it said that I had to make it a symbol in order for it to work, and then I ended up creating a symbol because of that, and it still didn't move its feet. And I think I might have tried to do it again, and I still couldn't get it to work. And somehow it's like this.
Okay. Let's see. Double click on this once again.
All right.
All right. This thing, Jigglypuff. Okay. Let's see. We are inside Jigglypuff right now. Okay, go up one level to, click on that Jigglypuff for a second, and then click on properties. Let's see.
All right. Let's see. Properties.
Upper right next to library tab.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's go up one level to symbol 2.
All right. Symbol 2.
Okay. Let's see. Now click on the library upper right
Okay.
and select Jigglypuff on your stage. Use the select tool.
Okay, the select tool. All right.
Okay, and do a right click
All right.
and do convert to symbol.
Okay.
And let's just say Jigglypuff new.
All right.
Okay, click OK. And now let's go up to scene 1.
Okay.
And now click on that Jigglypuff right there. Not double click. Let's go back
Oh,
to scene 1.
okay.
A single click. And now press the delete key.
All right.
Okay, now drag Jigglypuff new onto your thing and drop it.
All right. Let's see how this goes.
No joy.
Yeah, the feet still aren't moving.
Okay, double click on Jigglypuff new. Let's go back to scene 1. Let's turn off the Jigglypuff layer.
All right.
Let's see here. Let's see. Animation. Let's see. Okay, why don't we add a new layer?
A new layer.
Yeah, I'm just
All right.
Okay, you don't need to worry about naming it. Just drag Jigglypuff new
All right.
onto this one here.
Okay, I'll do that.
Let's see here. Okay, so it starts up there, and then go ahead and add the insert the frame.
All right. Let's see. Insert.
Yeah, click on frame 50 and
Wait, let me make sure I'm inserting the right frame. Do I insert motion tween
first
or
of all,
what?
yeah, okay, yeah, do it. Create a motion tween. Let's see. I think we're selected on the layer. Okay.
All right.
All right. We need to.
Let's see. All right. Let's see about this. Still no movement of the feet.
What is going on?
What could I be doing wrong? Hmm.
Okay, double click on the Jigglypuff new. Okay, layer 1. That's weird. Okay. Okay, double click again.
All right. Oops. Wait, let me try this.
This is Jigglypuff within Jigglypuff new.
I just don't know.
Okay, Jigglypuff.
Hate to have to start over after having figured out how I wanted to do this and stuff.
Now let's try to figure this out. Yeah, I think we might need to. This needs to be Jigglypuff. Where does this thing live? We're in Jigglypuff new. Can you click on Jigglypuff new on the upper thing, upper left?
Let's see.
Right there. Yeah, I think that this level we need to be down inside the Jigglypuff rather than up at this level. Let's see. Oh, one problem here is this thing only lives for a frame here. That might be the constraining thing.
Would it help if I were to extend this somehow? Or?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. That this constraining thing,
Like, how would I extend this? Do I choose like the keyframe or something? Or?
yeah, let's have you do this. I want you to undo all the stuff I've had you do by doing it, because I want to get back to where you were, because I think that might be the original problem. Don't you love Command Z and then you do a Command Y?
Okay. Let's see. Where are we here? Trying to get back to where we were.
About here.
I think this is where I was.
Okay. Let's go ahead and want you save the file, just so that we
All right.
get it right. Okay, go ahead and double click on that. Okay, and that thing lives for 30 frames. But
But it does have the movement.
let's go and double click on that.
Wait. Oh. All right.
And then double click on the Jigglypuff one more time. All right, let's go back to symbol 2.
All right.
And then do a right click. Let's see. The Jigglypuff there. Do a right click. Convert to symbol. F8 down the bottom. Yeah, let's let it go to symbol 3. Okay, let's go back to scene 1 and delete that. All right, now drag symbol 3 out on your stage. X is between object. Okay, try it again. Please work.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, that one had like some extra stuff on there that I needed to take off that I put on there by accident. I think it kind of reminds me of the Pac-Man game. That wasn't my intent, though. I might see if I can fix this here, at least with that extra eyes that I accidentally put on there. Let's see.
Well, I'm kind of thinking you should just back up what I just had you do.
Oh,
rather than
okay.
go forward.
All right. So now what?
Let's back up. Something I'm really just missing here. What is wrong? Wrong.
I may end up having to start over on this if we can't figure it out.
Oh, let's see.
It's been a pretty busy week for me, unfortunately, because of job interviews and stuff. And I think that the reason I went so down the rabbit hole of screwing this up was because my fiance dropped by to visit unexpectedly, and having him around, I didn't focus as well as I could have, and I just sort of made mistakes and muddled through and tried to figure out how to fix it, because like I kind of skipped over some of the parts in some of the tutorials that I was watching along the way, and I just kept going back and rewatching and trying to redo things and trying to get it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I do fortunately have some idea how to get it like this again. If I had to start over, I just dread the thought of having to start over.
Oh man. Because I haven't been able to figure it out, and because I know what you attempted to create there, and I see the animation, and I see that there are two things moving. Frankly, and because you're busy and all that, I'm willing to accept this as is for full credit, and especially because I haven't been able to figure this out. So.
If I'm not able to get this finished like I intended to for this week, would it be possible for me to end up doing the one that I intended to have it like for like a final project or something?
So did I hear you say you want to create use this for your final project? Is that what I heard you say?
Well, yeah, like a finished version that was made properly the way I had hoped to be able to make it.
Yeah, my goal is to have each week we make it better until it's final. So I think
Yeah.
I'm understanding you correctly, and the answer is
Yeah, what I'm saying basically is that I'm okay with submitting this one as is for full credit this week, but was wondering if, like, when we do the final project, I could do like a perfected version of the same one.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's my hope, is that each week it'll just get better.
Yeah, because otherwise I probably won't have enough time to study for the assessment quiz and take that one.
Sure.
I do appreciate you letting me get full credit for this one.
You bet. My pleasure. I'm really sorry I didn't get this figured out. So
Yeah, it might have helped if we had started earlier on it, but I was just trying to see if I could do it myself, and then like when I couldn't get past the roadblock in my way, I remembered that there was a live session, and I thought, hey, maybe the teacher can help.
yeah, sorry I couldn't. So
It's okay.
I'm going to play with it. Why don't you go ahead and upload it? And because I would really like to get this figured out. I need to, frankly. Go ahead
All right.
and submit it.
Do you want me to upload it as just the Flash file, or do you want me to upload it as one of the other file types? Well,
No, the FLA. I need you to upload it FLA, and I'll download it and see what I can do.
all right then. I'll do that for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who's next?
Would you like me to unshare my screen?
Yep, thank you.
All right. Let me just get these out of the way here.
Awesome. Anybody want to go next? Let's see. Oh, we just lost Barbara. Oh, bummer. All right, well, I better see if I can contact Barbara. I was going to help her, and she gave up on me. So I got to call Barbara. All right, anybody else need anything? Are we good to go? Call it a night? Good? Cool? Okay. Thanks, you guys. You're awesome. You're doing great. It's fun to work with you. Take care. Have a good night. Good night. Oh, you're back, Barbara. Great. I was worried, Barbara. I thought you gave up on me. Go ahead and unmute. Barbara, I need to help you. I'm going to unmute you. Okay, go ahead and speak. Oh, you don't have a microphone? Oh, I can hear you. Okay, Barbara, I can hear you. Barbara, can you hear me? Barbara?
Does anyone else have access?
I'm going to mute her because I don't think she realizes that I unmuted her, and I was afraid that they wouldn't like knowing that we're listening. Barbara? I just messaged her. Barbara? Huh. Well, go ahead, Melissa.
I had a question. I was trying to create some of this stuff, some of the objects, the shark and boat and so forth in Flash. But
Sure.
every time I tried to draw something with the pen tool in Flash, it wouldn't let me fill it with a color.
Okay.
So I did I ended up doing everything in Illustrator and bringing it in. Is there a special thing you're supposed to do to fill something
Well, you
that
got
you do with the?
you got to be really careful about snapping because closing the loop. If you don't close the loop, if you don't close it, it won't think it's a closed circle, and if it's not a closed circle, it won't let you put in a fill. It must be.
That's what.
Did you use? Were you just doing freehand circles or drawing, or were you using like the geometrical shape, like the circle tool?
No, I was using the pen tool to try and like create the sails and
yeah.
the shark and stuff.
You did say that. Okay. So closing, you have to zoom in or snap. You should turn on your grid and do snap to grid, and that way it'll close. So try that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
If with
Yes,
a pen
I
tool,
understand.
if you're a pixel off, or something, it's not gonna think it's a closed thing that it can create a fill for. So use your grid and
Okay.
snap grid. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Okay. All right. Let's call it a night. I need to email her. So thanks everybody. Have a good night. I'll get together, figure out what we're going to do on Saturday. Take care. Thanks again. Good night.